Hey guys, Dasterzak here from the Mousecast podcast, back with another review, this time of the Mad Lions Mad G Max in the red colorway. This mouse is shooting to be a Maya X clone, and let's see if it pulls it off. I got this on AliExpress for just under $45 all in on the Black Friday sale with the coupon codes, and I bought this in like a $120 purchase, so I had $12 back on that purchase, and I got some additional cash back coming from Rakuten as well. Heads up, that is up to 10% today for Green Monday. So far, no real complaints about this mouse. The QC is very solid. I've got no creaking when applying pressure on the side, no flexing really either. The clicks are the Omron Opticals. They're very snappy, very light and spammable, very similar to the implementation on the Maya X, just a little less crispy, but I would say about 90% of the same clicks, and I really like the ones on the Maya X. Taking a look at the bottom of the mouse, this has, in my opinion, the exact same skates as the VXC R1 Pro that I've tested before, which they're fine, but not great skates. You can use them without issue. I'll probably replace these with aftermarket skates if I continue to use this mouse. The bottom of the mouse is entirely flat. No issues with that in my estimation, so no bottom scraping when testing this mouse out. As far as the front profile, this matches up exactly with the Maya X. The scroll wheel is notchy, but not too notchy, and middle mouse click is very, very spammable. The side buttons are, again, no issues with them. Not a lot of pre-travel. Can't really sink them into the shell at all, so that's nice to see as well. So let's get into some shape comparisons. Here is the Maya X versus the Mad Lions Mad G Max, and you can see pretty quickly that these are very, very similar shapes. There are slight differences that I have noticed. If you turn to the side profile, they are pretty much indiscernible. If you come to the bottom, obviously, if you've seen the Maya X before, it has very nice, thick PTFE skates that I would grade above those of the Mad G Max. But again, the bottom profile very similar. If we take a look at the back, again, I've not really noticed any obvious differences in the back side either. This is very, very close to a clone. What I will say is if you take a look from the bottom straight on, it appears to me that there's a slight increase in the tapering amount from the back to the middle of the mouse to the waist on the Mad Lions mouse as compared to what you see on the Maya X. It feels a little bit narrower there, which I kind of like to have a narrow grip width at the waist, so I do enjoy that aspect of the Mad G. Beside that, again, if we take a look at the side profile, the click height on the Mad G is also ever so slightly higher, and then I'm not sure how well you can see this, the Maya X is a little bit flatter in the front, and then when you come to the Mad G, it tapers off a little more drastically, like on an angle down here, which, depending on how you grip the mouse, I'm very forward, does slightly affect how I grip it, and is a little bit more comfortable for me. And just for the sake of comparison, so if you can see this if you haven't before, this is the basically the Maya X Mad G versus the Maya in size. I will say the Maya, when I used it, you could tell that this tapering was happening, that the sides were very like angled down, and that was like a feature of the mouse that really stuck out to me that kind of went away a little bit on the Maya X. Obviously, I do have the side grip tape applied to my Maya X, but I did test without it as well, and I feel like the Mad G it kind of emulates that narrower waist feeling just a little bit more, and it feels a little bit more like a Maya in that respect in the hand, beside the fact that it's virtually a shape clone of the Maya X. I would say coating-wise, this definitely does have a coating, as we saw in the description, and to me it feels very, very similar to that of the one on the ATK X1 Ultimate that I have. It's somewhat rubberized. It's not as rubberized as something like a Pulsar, but it's definitely not the bare plastic, and with even a little bit of moisture playing some Kovacs, it became very grippy very quickly, and I only really have this small piece of grip tape in the back to help with my grip, but yeah, the coating on this gets a huge pass for me. One more thing to mention here, another very slight difference. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm going to give you a front view of the comfort grooves on the Maya X and the comfort grooves on the Mad G Max here. The ones on the Mad G Max are just a little bit more pronounced, and they just feel a little bit more comfortable in the hand. So we'll go ahead and do the sound test as well here. We've got M1 and M2. Scroll wheel and middle click. Pretty spammable there. The side buttons, they feel very, very, very similar to those of the Maya X. They're ever so slightly different in the sound that they make. And yeah, again, when applying pressure, no creaking top, bottom, either side. QC on this is rock solid. Here you can see the web software. It's using the same hub.atk.pro that all of the ATK VXC mice use, like the MADR Major, the ATK X1 and F1, as well as this MAD-G. You can see it listed as an unknown device up here in the top corner, which is interesting. You've got your standard DPI settings, the performance settings of MoveSync, long range, performance mode. You can see I was testing this in 8K and Kovacs, ran across no hiccups with that, so that's awesome. But yeah, just your standard web-based software, which is always a plus in my opinion. Taking a look here at the comparison between the MAD-G and the MAD-G Max. Obviously, I went with the MAD-G Max because I love the red colorway, and I don't mind the extra 5 grams of weight that you get from the extra 250 milliamp hours battery size there. They both have a 3395. You get the Nordic MCU in the MAD-G Max. Same size. They both have the coating, which is a nice feature. Sometimes the base of these models doesn't have the same coating, but this has that great coating that I spoke of earlier. You only get the 1K receiver with the normal MAD-G. The MAD-G Max comes with the 8K receiver. Again, mine being red, even though it's shown as black there, which I thought was pretty cool. The last key difference here being there's a Hawano mechanical shell or switch in the MAD-G, and then the MAD-G Max has the on-run opticals that we've become very accustomed to in all of these Chinese mice. So overall, for my impressions of the Mad Lions MAD-G Max, this has me in almost the exact same boat as my ATK X1 Ultimate has in comparison to the Viper V3 Pro, where I feel like this is so good, it's hard for me to justify keeping the more mainstream, like Viper, the Razer version of this mouse, just because it's so much more expensive and holds such a resale value. Keeping this for a $45 purchase and reselling my Maya X for $90 or $100 just almost seems like a no-brainer, which is sad because I do really like supporting companies like Lamzu that put out awesome mice, and then this is just a straight copy of that, so you do sort of feel bad going with the cheaper option. But I mean, between the colorway on this and the rock solid QC and the slight shape differences that we see on the tapering of the sides, I find it hard not to recommend this mouse, very much like the Dharma Shark X6 Max. China just seems to be putting out banger after banger these days. So appreciate everyone listening to the review. If you have any comments, thoughts, please leave them below, and a subscription and like would be appreciated. Thank you.